just even these last couple of games, the acknowledgements from guys that you never played with, you've just played against, that must be pretty special to go out with.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. You know, I said it to you guys the other day. I didn't really expect any of it, to be honest with you. At times this season, I really didn't know when I played my last game as an Islander. So, you know, it was pretty touching, pretty special. You know, pretty amazing thing. You know, not only to be recognized by our fan base and embraced by my teammates, but you know, to be acknowledged by two other teams, and you know, the texts and stuff I've gotten from guys around the league, and pretty cool.
What that hug with Casey mean?
It means a lot, obviously. Had a lot of hugs with him over the years. I'm sure we'll still have plenty of hugs moving forward. But you know, him and Cal, two guys I spent a lot of time playing with, and you know, they're very much, you know, they called us the identity line, but those two guys are very much a part of my identity as a person in a lot of ways. You know, two of my closest friends, two guys that you know, our relationship will go far beyond hockey. You know, that's not something that I'm worried about, but a lot of special moments with those two, and every guy in this locker room. But you know, those two in particular, you know, we had quite the run together, and it's a pretty rare thing.
Hey, Patrick mentioned, I don't know if it was probably that Capitals game, the last home game, that, you know, whatever the future holds for you, he knows that you're always going to be involved in hockey somehow. Does, you know, whether you play or not, do you feel like that?
Listen, I love the game. I love you know, this team in particular. But yeah, I think in some way, shape, or form, it'll probably remain in the game. But no, I have a lot of time here to really look back, reflect on some things, and figure out what's next. Really, you know, right now, I honestly have a dining room full of Twins things that I got to put together, and companies that only send you an Allen wrench to do it. So I got to, you know, get through that, and then you know, start thinking about, like I said, what's next for me, and go from there.
Do you have any, I guess, expectations for this summer? Are you planning to train as normal? Do you not know yet?
Yeah, well, I'll train. You know, I'll definitely train. But yeah, I like I said, I'll just take some time here and you know, see what's next. When the time comes, I'll know, you know, what I want to do and what I want to pursue, and go from there. Like I said, I've been focused on just getting through day by day. You know, what I need to get through, whether that was playing, not playing. You know, it was a challenging year in a lot of ways. It's a year that I knew it was going to be that way, but, you know, still very much, you know, on a day-to-day basis coming in and, you know, being on the lineup for a while, whatnot. It weighs on you, and you got to try to remain positive, stay focused, work. You know, I got back in the lineup on a day that I really didn't think I was going to. So I'm proud of myself for the way I stayed dedicated and focused. Had a lot of people in this room helping me do that as well. And, you know, now we'll assess and go from there.
You always talk
about. Sorry, asked a lot of guys today about, you know, you've been around the longest of anyone, the identity that you guys built up that maybe has, you know, faded a little bit the last 3-4 years. How does this team get it back?
Yeah, well, I think, you know, it takes, you know, everybody looking at themselves and what they can do more. You know, there's a lot of really good quality players in this room. I know that. I think everyone knows that, and they need, you know, to see what they can do better. And at the end of the day, you know, we're at our best when everyone had a role and an identity, and guys stuck to it. You know, you look at those runs that we had. I feel like we had guys that just went out there and put their you know, personal stuff aside for the betterment of the team. And I think, you know, the best teams in the league generally have that. So I think it takes everybody in a locker room, and things can get derailed pretty quickly if not everyone's pulling on the same rope in the same direction.
You've obviously always been a day-by-day guy. How much did that really help you with how things went this year, having that mindset?
Yeah, I think it helped a lot up until Andrew hit me with the question on, and then I started to think about things a little more. But yeah, I think it's just important as an athlete, or really, this game teaches you so much about life in general and how to handle situations. Obviously, it's not all rainbows and butterflies all the time. The game's tough. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to be successful. We have a lot of people that are relying on us to win, and it's it can weigh heavy sometimes, for sure. And there's ups and downs for every single guy every year, and you just got to try to keep the pedal down and wake up the next day and do your best. And like I said, if you get everybody doing that and everyone pulling in the same direction, you're gonna have bad nights and good nights, but if you can find ways to win hockey games despite that, that's an important thing.
What did it mean for you for Kyle to give you his A, and then also to wear the A in the final game of the year as well?
Yeah, that was very cool. Didn't see that coming either. So, Kyle, he's a big part of this team. Obviously, he got traded here, but he's integrated here so well, and I'm very, very thankful of him to do that, and meant a lot to me.
You obviously had the privilege of starting here, but then coming back to the island. I guess just for whether it's free agents or just talk about just being a player for this organization.
Yeah, well, that's a rare thing for me to go somewhere else, and didn't work out there, and then basically fall right back into the role I was in here. I'm very grateful and blessed for that to happen. But it's Long Island's just a great place. Didn't know anything about it when I was drafted here, but I started a family here and plan on living here, for the rest of my life. So, it's a great place to raise a family, great place to, obviously you got the city right there, you got the Hamptons, you got golf, you got restaurants, beaches. I mean, everything you could possibly want is here. And then we got a incredible organization, brand new arena, an incredible fan base as well. So, this fan base is extremely passionate, obviously. When you're winning, it's the best. When you're losing, they let you hear it as you should. So, I think it's a great place to play hockey.
I know it was years ago, but do you remember finding out you were coming back and just what went through your mind?
Yeah, honestly, I owe a lot to Shanahan and Dubas for that. They left at the end of the day. They had a few offers and allowed me to make the decision, which is also something they didn't owe me. They didn't have to do that, and they did. So I'm very thankful for them for that. It was almost like two different chapters in my career here, and I'm appreciative of it for sure.
What does it mean to have a core group of guys who have been here for over a decade to grow up together?
Yeah, it does. It means a lot. And listen, ultimately, we didn't accomplish what we wanted to, and you get the feeling that changes will come as they do every year. A big part of this team, some guys are already retired as well, or one of them's playing on Washington. Bo was a big part of our runs. Letty, I mean, so many guys to name. I don't even want to get into it, but we just, these are guys you grow up with. Watch them get married, watch them have families, watch them struggle, watch them suffer heartbreak on the ice. Outside of our families and the people that support us, these are the people that see you in the good times and the bad, your emotional moments, like I said, the heartbreaking moments. This is family at the end of the day, and we all need each other.
Barzal said you're like a big brother to a lot of guys in this room. What's it like to both guide and see the younger guys grow here?
No, it's great. I know he's told you the Michael Jordan story, so it wasn't his second year in the league. It was the first year he was drafted. He came to my house. Snowy said he was coming in. I was living alone at the time. I told him he could stay with me. I went to the rink to work out, came back to the apartment, and he had gone through my closet, found a Michael Jordan jersey, put it on, and started playing video games. So I never told him about a Michael Jordan jersey. I never told him to stay out of my closet. He just went in there and did it himself. But you know, he's a guy that I'm extremely close with. You know, he's grown a lot as a person and as a player, and will continue to do so. And this team has success, he'll be a big reason why.
Just, you know, the metamorphosis of the franchise itself. I mean, you got here, it was Iceworks.
Yeah.
Now it's this. What can you? You're kind of linked to that change with the franchise, or just transformation of the franchise.
Yeah, well, you know, it wasn't me for sure, but you know, a lot of people along the road. You know, you want to, regardless of how you feel about Garth Snow and Cappy and the people that were here before, and you know, the transition to Lou and the culture he's built. You know, everybody that's touched this organization in the time that I've been here has you know, contributed in that change. No one person did it. I would say, you know, Lou to Snowy and Lou, outside of the owners, are the biggest reasons in terms of the culture they built and you know, the type of people they drafted, the type of organization they wanted, type of players they wanted to represent their organization, and I think that's an important thing. But you know, Long Island's got a beautiful facility now, both practice and game, and you know, the new ownership has done an incredible job at you know, making this a special place.
You mentioned the new ownership. How much did alumni coming really back into the picture help with that culture? And them being more at games or being around you guys a lot more than they were in the past.
We talking like Gillies
Like,
and those
yeah,
guys?
yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Gillies was, I feel like from my first year, he invited me to his golf outing and, you know, grew really close with him. He just had like this aura about him, you know, just kind of the coolest dude ever. And you just kind of wanted to be like him in a lot of ways. So, you know, a lot of those older guys, even if they weren't, you know, it's so long ago. I don't know how much they were around in my first stint necessarily, and obviously my first 4 years, we weren't the best team in the world to come watch. So, but I think they were always extremely supportive of us. Bobby Nystrom, Mike Bossy, you know, Billy Smith over the years. I've seen him a lot. You know, Trotz, Butch. Once again, I don't like naming names because you always leave somebody out, but all these guys have played a huge role into you know, not only me being a player, but just the person I've become and type of person you want to be. You look at people like that, and you know, even if you didn't know much about them as players, you look up to them, you idolize them, and you learn from them. And you know, Clarky's a big reason why I have a foundation now.
When you go through the mental gymnastics of, you know, plotting your future, does 1,000 games, you know, does that factor in at all? You know, trying to get there?
I think I'll play. You know, I think I just got to figure out what I want to do, you
Yeah.
know, and go from there. Not closing any doors, but you know, we'll see what happens. Obviously, that was a milestone that I would have liked to try to get this year. It didn't happen, and that's okay. You know, I failed to make enough of an impact. You know, at the end of the day, that's on me. And you know, Patrick or nobody else owes me anything. So, you know, it would have been nice, obviously, to get that. But at the same time, this organization's done so much for me, and the other night was special as well. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like I said, I don't have the answers right now.
Yeah.
I really, I just need to, you know, take some time, figure it all out, and go from there.